Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our video game show here at Geekverse. I'm your host, Dylan Musnet. With me, the For Democracy, Taylor Field. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing good. Feet first, ready to dive into this episode with you tonight.
Yeah, good pun there. We have a fun show today. We're going to be talking about Helldivers 2, which just recently launched on Xbox, so Taylor and the rest of us have been playing some more of that. Rogue Prince of Persia is a game I've been playing for the last couple weeks. I'm excited to talk about that, and then we're just gonna do a little check-in of the game release calendar for the fall. Now that we're officially into September, just have a couple short months here before we get into game awards, game of the year, all of this kind of fun stuff. So just gonna look at what we can expect for these last couple months, and make a little bit of predictions. Maybe talk about Switch 2 a little bit more as well. So should be a fun episode. The only shout out I'll do right here at the top is that we released 2 episodes last week, one of which was the video game trivia episode, which I'm really happy with. I think it was a really fun time. It's a big, meaty episode, so go check it out. And if you missed it, at the end of that, like last half an hour, 20 minutes of that, is where we did a check-in of the draft and also added more games to it. So if you're not into trivia, you don't like trivia, I don't know who doesn't like trivia, but if you don't, at least skip down to the end of that. There's, in the comments, you can see where the timestamp is for that. Go ahead and check out that that update to the draft, because that's kind of relevant for what we're talking about here, because we obviously picked games that are coming out in these last few months here. So a really fun episode, though. Definitely check it out. And as Taylor mentioned, let's dive right into this one. So Helldivers 2 is a game that came out, I think, what was it, a year and a half ago, right? At this point, came out 2024 January, so it's been a while now. I think it was in that pocket on PlayStation and PC. And it is now out on Xbox and has full crossplay and all that kind of fun stuff. So easy for people to get back in there, kind of revitalize the game a little bit. And Taylor, I gotta say, I can't recall the last time I've seen you this excited for a game. Like, not even the most recent Assassin's Creed, any of these Call of Duties. Like, I can't think of the last time you've been this excited for a video game thing. At least from my perception. Does that sound pretty accurate to you, that this is kind of the most hyped you've been on a game release in the last while?
I think you're pretty spot on, to be honest. And it's just, I think it's the accessibility, the gameplay, and it's the theme, like everything that it's incorporated.
Because you're a big Starship Troopers guy. Is that kind of the main reason, would you say?
Starship Troopers, love Starship Troopers, and I mean, yeah, there's just so much going on with this game. And I was talking to Madison, because she's on the couch. She doesn't know why I'm going head over heels for this game, but I look at her, and I, like, most of the time when I'm playing, I'm not even sitting on the couch. I'm leaning forward on my coffee table, like full on, like focused. I'm so enveloped in this. I look at Madison, I'm like, why do you think like guys just love this? And it's like the cutscene where the destroyer jumps into that orbit and like the drop pods shoot out, and like, what is it about this? It's just, it just gets the blood pumping and the music's kicking in and just ready to go into hell. And she's like, I don't know, Taylor.
Yeah. That's a funny thing. It'd be funny to analyze like why that is, and I guess it does feel like a pretty testosterone filled, like, dude sort of game, but I'm sure a lot of different types of people enjoy it as well. So yeah, over the weekend, it came out Thursday. I mean, I've had a PS5 for a while, so I could have played this game for a while, but it was kind of more with you and Travis jumping in that I was kind of excited to get back in there and finally check this game out for myself. So even though it's still like full price, the same price it was when it came out, I finally bought it over the last few days here. And I did not get to play much, just one night, because I was kind of away all weekend. So we did like 4 matches maybe overall, 3, 4, something like that. How much have you played of this game now? Because you obviously played some over the weekend. You had played even before we had jumped in on Friday night. So how many games roughly, or hours or whatever, do you think you've played at this point?
I've played every night since it's released.
Nice.
After podcast and then up till midnight, and I'll probably try a little bit more tonight too. But
okay, I'm down, dude. After I'm done editing this, I'll do some more dropping if you're down. I'm down.
Okay, cool. I've gotten up to the point where I've got it's after suicide. Like impossible difficulty. I've just been having like, it's because we did the version, or the we broke off from fighting off the insects, and we faced off against, and this is a faction that was introduced later to my knowledge, because you have the robots, you have the insects, and then you've got these zombie robot future sci-fi War of the Worlds,
almost like
aliens.
Religious zealot kind of themed types.
Yeah. And as chaotic as that is, I really am satisfied and get a lot of enjoyment out of playing against them, but then the insects that we're facing off against, I've had so many Starship Trooper moments. Like earlier today, I had a moment where like the shuttle is coming down and I've got my full squad with me, and I just pan around and look out onto this like empty barren horizon, and it's just like the massive ones coming at us, like three of them, hordes of just the insects like flooding, and I'm like, this is just so satisfying. I just popping in all the sentry turrets, the airstrikes are coming in, and that dropship lands, and the music kicks in. Oh, oh.
That's great. It's funny because I feel like right now, like my perception of the game was like, oh yeah, you're dropping in and there's enemies everywhere, swarms from all sides. You don't have a moment to breathe. But so far, my experience has been like, okay, there's like moments where a lot of enemies are swarming in, but there's also a lot of just like running across an empty map, and your run is kind of slow, and then if you run for a while, your character like gets out of breath and you start like taking damage, so you kind of have to like slow down. I know there's like cars and mechs and all these things you unlock, but I think that's a part of it. Like I still feel like I still feel like I'm in the tutorial, even though I've done literally the tutorial and played a bunch of games after that, because as you mentioned, like as you're unlocking these higher difficulties, I'm sure just the amount of enemies and like, I don't know, the things they do and just the variety of enemy types you're seeing increases and all that. But then obviously as you get like different equipment and more of this, like, I don't know, stuff that lets you traverse like greater ranges and distances, I'm sure that changes it a lot too. So, I mean, I'm having a great time with it so far because like, throw me in a lobby with you and Travis, and it's like, I'm going to have a good time no matter what game we're playing. We could be playing with the worst game of the year, and we'll probably still have a good time just laughing and joking around. But yeah, this game is very cool. But so far, it's very different than I was expecting. But I don't know, do you feel like it changed, like the difficulty? Does it change a lot of like the quantity of enemies, or is it more just like they have more HP, would you say, so far?
I'd say the difficulty is adding new, more powerful units to the match, and it's also scaling the factor of spawning in. I would say when you go in the lower difficulties, you have more of like a breathing period at the start before the waves start hitting in. When you do the higher difficulty, like they're there, like it's armies everywhere. You don't have hardly any time to drop your armor down and get what you need, your weapons, everything like that, out of your drop pods, your stratagems, I should say. So there's that, and then you're dealing with, I want to say they have more HP, but there's some units, depending on where you hit them, you're one-shotting them. Some of the huge, massive four-legged giant insects, one precise shot and it's down, it's killed. And I thought, okay, that's pretty good to know, whereas just firing on this thing with your regular assault rifle is not going to really do much in the long run.
Yeah. And so you've obviously done some matches against like the robots now, like the third faction?
No, that's the one I haven't,
I
haven't, and I'm kind of just savoring it. I thought, okay, well, like I've done just the two other factions. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna treat that as a treat when I get my fill with these two factions, and I dive into that and think, okay, this is cool, because now it's like a whole new experience. Because I've seen a few reels of what the robots have for their units and just all the different stuff that they're popping off, and it's exciting. That'll be like my own little DLC kind of experience, I guess, for when I get there. So
yeah, I'm excited to see that, and even just like get into more of the zones that I haven't been to yet, because so far I feel like the insect zones are like generally much more open, and you can kind of see a lot more, whereas when we were getting into I don't even know the name of them, but like the zombie zealot kind of things,
the
like
Illuminati, I think they were.
I think the Illuminate, that sounds about right. But like, even like, man, I was getting to some sequences where I'm like getting chased, I'm getting separated from the pack a little bit, so I'm kind of running away. They got the freaking like carpet bombs that they're doing constantly, so I'm trying to stay off the streets, so trying to stay like under the awnings, under the buildings, and then just getting separated from you guys, kind of getting chased into a corner, being in like short, cramped little alleyways, and just like that claustrophobic feeling of I don't even know what's behind me. I don't know if there's anything behind me or if it's just a wall, and if I get cornered here, I'm not gonna have the gunpowder, like the reload time to be able to get out of here. And like, so that's completely opposite to what like fighting against the bugs feels like, where you can get cornered and claustrophobia'd by to invent a new word there, by the bugs, but like generally the map is like fairly open, and I'm sure, I don't know, even in the different bug areas and zones, I'm sure the maps change quite a bit and there's little variations there. But yeah, it does feel like almost like two completely different games, different types of strategies. And I think that's a fun part of it too, is like all the objectives going on in these different maps, because obviously I guess there's like a lot of randomization to the objectives, the things you got to do, what's on the map. And some of them don't even make sense to us, like we got to like one like relay tower, and it's like someone has to turn the relay tower in the right position, the other one has to like check the screen to make sure it's in the right position, and like we just didn't understand how that worked at all the first time. And then next time we're like, hey, we have a bit more time here, we still have a bunch of time on the clock, let's spend some more time to figure it out. And then that was kind of the same thing when we went to the Zealot Zone too, and it was like, we're gonna blow up these ships, but we don't really know exactly what our airstrikes are doing what, and then we had to like call in that mini nuke on that one, like whatever it was, the monolith, I guess, and we had no idea what was going on there. Wasted a lot of time, and so I feel like that's a fun part too. It's almost like puzzle solving, which I'm sure as we play those maps over and over and see those objectives again, okay, we have like a game plan, we know exactly what to do, we can be a lot more efficient with it. But even just kind of scrambling through these situations feels super epic, and like they do a great job. Like almost all the final battles we've done so far, like when you're waiting for the ship to come down, it's intense. Like, they're laying carpet bombs on you, enemies coming from all angles. There was only, I feel like, one where we just like totally dominated. A couple napalms in the right spots, couple turrets, and like they were not getting anywhere near us. But I feel like the intensity is, I don't know, pretty constant, ever present, especially with the ending. So yeah, it feels like every battle, it feels like a movie action set piece. Like I feel like they do a good job of that kind of thing.
It does. There are two sequences actually. Like the one where against the Terminids, we were trying to get out of there and do the objective, and we were playing with Kirkland and Tyler in both these different situations. And so we were out of respawns, redeployments, and it was just when you get down to 0 redeployments, it just goes on a 2-minute timer, and then you can just wait the 2 minutes, then you can get someone back, wait 2 minutes, get someone back.
Okay,
So you just gotta keep waiting for that. And so we were basically just switching off. One person would respawn another, and then he would get killed, and the next person would have last. And just it came to me, and I dropped these. I can't remember what it's called, but it's one of the stratagems where it's like a mounted HCM gun that you can jump on and like start firing. And the thing has been working great. And I hop on it, and everyone's like, run, what are you doing? Run. And I'm like, stop talking. I ended up getting killed because I jumped off of it. But with that, and again, it's cinematic and intense. And there is another, we're on a harder difficulty in the city against the Illuminate. And we got absolutely crushed. Like there's just a scene, there's like 3 of these War of the Worlds machines moving towards us. It's absolute pandemania, like crazy. And then we very brutally got through it. But then the next time we went in, because at this stage you can do in a region 3 missions in a region, and then when you complete those 3 missions, it goes up to 5 stars now, and then you can get like whole bunch of war bonds as the currency. So get a lot of good stuff. But the second one that we started up was like, okay, let's reevaluate this, because Kirkland and Tyler, they had some stuff unlocked, they were already a higher level and whatnot. So we picked different things for our stratagems that would work. So I went heavy on, like, I did a shield generator, a bunch of sentry turrets, and then like Travis and Tyler popped on like orbital bombardment things, and then like another shield generator. And then we found that if we're having to hold those positions, we're popping a shield generator down, because those strafe runs, it will block them for the most part. And then we're just coordinating and working. Okay, we're popping sentries here, and we're able to work better instead of us kind of overlapping our stratagems, and then it becomes kind of redundant, right?
I guess when you're low level, well, I guess even once you just start getting coins, you can kind of pick the things you want to unlock. But yeah, I'm excited for that part of it too, because I feel like when you and Travis were playing, you guys had played a little bit more than me, but still a little bit green in that sense and hadn't unlocked a ton of stuff. And so kind of felt like we all had the same role. But I think that's kind of an exciting thought that like, oh yeah, like I could be more of a support this game, or
that's
you could be more the resupply kind of guy, or you could be the heavy, probably get one guy who can like spawn a car if we need to get across the map, that kind of thing. I don't know how that car spawning thing works, but something like that.
The car driving,
like a fun idea.
The car driving threw me for a loop, because you so you're in it, and then you've got reverse, neutral, drive, and then you've got like first gear, second gear, and you hit your trigger or your bumpers to switch between gears, and then your trigger to drive.
You have to play in that way. Wow.
Yes, and I was driving, and we took a wrong turn down into the Terminid hive nest area, and the vehicle started to roll. So the guy that was in the gunner slot got crushed as it rolled, and he died. It's so easy to get killed, as by teammates in this game.
Yeah. No, I love that idea. Obviously, that's kind of like a big part of the theme and the Super Troopers-ness of it, is that like, oh yeah, these lives are disposable, like whatever corporation, patriotic government, whatever it is that's like, running this, like lives mean nothing. I think that's even ever present in like the tutorial. You're doing the tutorial, you're like in the boot camp learning how to like do the controls, and like when the characters die there, it's like, oh yeah, that person literally did die, and it's not you respawning, it's like another person is dropping in that position. This is a fucking boot camp, and they're just throwing away lives for the boot camp, not even against like actual enemies that are harming the nation. It's like a crazy thought, but I feel like that's such a fun part of it. It makes it feel very intense, and yeah, I'm sure as you get the higher difficulties, like as you're talking about with the more limited respawn of it all, that also adds to me like a great comedy to it. The amount of times that like me or you or Travis accidentally just headshot each other or shot each other as we walked in front, and man, like you can kill someone super quick. It feels like the friendly fire is dialed up to like ×2 damage or something like that. Or the one time where we had to like defend this area, put up a flag or something, and you were like, oh, I'm gonna try out this like landmine thing I've never tried before, only to learn that it just like carpeted the whole area and killed all of us. And like that stuff is great. And if it failed us a mission, we'd probably get pissed and then just laugh about it a minute later. But I think even that part of it, that it's like you can almost accidentally kill your teammates all the time, and the fact that happened to you when you were driving that car and it just flipped in the way you didn't expect is great, because once again it ties in thematically, but also is like just a very funny thing for a game like this to have. I can't think of another game like, I don't know, Gears of War, fire, whatever, what's the horde mode, or like Halo firefight, any of these kind of modes that are similar to a Helldivers gameplay. Like that's not really built into the gameplay. Is like, oh yeah, what is killing your teammates like? But this feels like very integrated into the story and the gameplay in a way that feels very fresh, and also adds like that good layer of comedy, because obviously there's a lot of funny dialogue written in this game, but I think it's hard for games to just be funny in their gameplay. That's why Spelunky's one of my favorite games. Is like you'll die the most tragic death, but it's so funny that you just kind of laugh it off, and you're not even mad anymore just because of the absurdity of the situation. So I don't know, I think this game kind of really succeeds at that angle of it. I'm sure just the more complicated weapons and cars and stratagems you get, even just the crazier that can get. And the amount of times that we just kind of had to learn the range of napalm by killing each other a few times is like, I don't know, a really fun part of the game that is, as I mentioned, like super unique. I like it.
Oh, absolutely. There's another moment where it was in the city against the Illuminate, and there was where a shuttle was going to drop and pick us up. It was like a lower staircase area, but it was like one-way access. It was below street level. And like, okay, who's gonna go down there? Who's gonna activate the beacon and get the drop ship coming down? And Travis is like, okay, I'll go. And as soon as he went down, Tyler threw a nuke marker down there. I was like, oh god, so the nuke's coming down. I threw a shield generator down there just in time for it, but it's just those moments like, you freak out because it's like, you told me it was clear, and the nuke's coming down. So lots of good stuff.
Yeah, that's always something I remember when hearing people first talk about this game, or Kirkland picked it up around launch and was talking about it on Sidequest. The stratagem system is great, right? Like the fact that you in the middle of this fray, intense battle, where like reload times you have to be really precise about, because if you reload before your clip's empty, you're gonna lose some ammo, and like ammo, you don't actually have a ton of it. Like every second kind of counts when you're in the middle of a battle. And the stratagems, the fact that you have to like punch in like a video game cheat code essentially in the middle of a battle is great, and especially when we were in that kind of zealot, zombie area, and like these enemies like will scramble your number or your dial, so you can't even just like muscle memory it. You kind of have to like go quickly, kind of go on the fly, and then it'll switch again, totally screw you over. But I don't know, I feel like that's a fun part of it too, is like kind of having to improvise a lot of these situations, because you don't really, like I said, a lot of randomization. You don't know where enemies are going to come from, which enemies you're going to be facing, where these carpet bombs are coming, all that sort of stuff. Very unpredictable. And I'm sure, as you get deeper in the game, you kind of start to pick up on the patterns. But for me, it all just feels like a frantic war. And even outside of like the physical things you're having to shoot and battle, just like the things that are happening in the background, you look up at the sky at any point, ships flying around, explosions happening. Like it really, I don't know, establishes the idea of not just a war zone, but like, oh yeah, this entire planet is at war constantly. And, going to the world map when you're back at base and looking at that and seeing like, oh yeah, 6 billion bugs were killed today by all these like other Helldivers players is a kind of exciting, fun part of it. I'm excited to get more into the community side of it. Now I think about I gotta join the subreddit and see what people are talking about. Feel like I can queue up with some of these randoms out here and learn a thing or two. But I like that part of the game as well.
Mm-hmm. And shout outs to all the randoms that are higher levels. They've been so freaking friendly, like dropping like mech suits and some of their stuff. For like my first game that I played, guy dropped a giant mech suit for me to use, and it's super nice. But yeah, lots of people are being very, very kind and friendly. And there was a guy I was playing with earlier, and we did the one mission, and then we're booting up the second one, and he was hosting, and he turns the mic on, he drops in this deep voice. He's like, "Welcome, Helldivers. Prepare for the next round,
Just
but I'm
role
gonna go
playing.
for a pee break quickly." just some good quality,
Yeah.
wholesome moments. So I appreciate it.
That's great. Yeah, talk to me a little bit about the I don't know, progression, unlocking stuff. Just because I'm still such a low level. Like one is, at level like from level 1, you can pick the assault rifle or like the sniper thing, or I think it's level 1, maybe level 2. You get like a pistol and like the basic grenade. Because I haven't seen anywhere like where you unlock that stuff. Is that just like when you hit level 7, you get a new one, or are you not changing those out? Are those just like the basic default ones, and then you're unlocking other stuff?
So under your acquisitions tab, and when you're in your destroyer, you got like 3 areas you can access primarily. You got your upgrades to your destroyer, which progression is new stratagems, permanent ability like increases, like 1 second decrease for your refresh rate on your stratagem, reload, whatever
Okay,
in game. And then you've got what was the other one? Like cosmetic
Vehicles?
customizations. Yeah,
Okay,
vehicles, cosmetic customizations and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you got the armory, which is like you highlighted, picking your guns, changing your loadouts, changing your gear, armor, everything like that. So when you're picking your guns and unlocking new guns, those guns come from the acquisitions, where you access, they have the primary war bond that you can get into right now. That's free for everyone. So you go into that one, and it's
It's
got
essentially
like
a battle pass, right?
exactly. It's
Yeah.
got a whole bunch of pages, and you do the missions, and you get the war bond currency, and then you can use those to buy things like new guns, and then you
Okay,
use those new
gotcha.
guns, and there you go. I've almost finished my Halo ODST one. I stopped working on it just so I could start getting more of the other stuff, because there are the boosters I wanted to get to help the whole team as a whole. But the gun customization is pretty neat. And that didn't come right away. That came a little bit later. So you basically, you're using this your whatever weapon you're utilizing, and then you level it up. Max level is 25, and then you'll see you have all these different attachments you can actually do, just like Call of Duty basically, where you can edit your gun, build a
Okay,
loadout, make
cool.
it better, and do all these different things, which is very neat. But yeah, you get your primary, your secondary, and that's its own leveling system, which is different from the actual level of your character. The only thing the leveling of your character does is just unlock new stratagems, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That
And
makes
then
sense.
the armor has abilities too, which is nice. You got like super light
Oh,
armor, and
interesting.
then medium armor, and then heavy armor. And then obviously like it stacks, or it varies, because you can be quicker here but less overall.
That's tanky. Yeah.
Exactly. And then vice versa on the other side.
Right. So to get the Halo stuff, do you need to pay money outside of the game's cost?
You can, if you want, to unlock that war bond right away. If not, you don't have to. You can literally just find the super credits in game while you're playing, or you can work away at the regular war bond that they have for free. And they've got like each page is like 100 super credits, 100 super credits you can
Right.
unlock. So you can get it that way too, and you can buy it without ever having to spend a real dollar on
Is
the
that
game.
realistically, are you going to be able to do that, or is it like such an insane amount of currency that
I
it
think it's
feels
really
impossible?
realistic, to be
Okay.
honest, because like
Cool.
I've almost gotten, I can't remember how much War Bond is, but I've gotten 800 just from playing it.
Okay.
I want to say they're like 1,000 to get a War Bond pack,
Yeah.
so it's not that bad.
Okay. And yeah, I found it overwhelming looking at that menu, but I'm guessing what's happening is like every season that the game's had, they just like still have in the game. Is that
Yes,
why
they don't-
we
they
look
don't
at it
remove them.
now and there's like a
Exactly.
million things, but obviously if you played the game since the beginning, it would be like one of these every month or 2 month or however often they do it. That's cool. And all the other ones, there's no other like IP crossover, right? Halo's the only one. When I was bumping around, it all looked like kind of unique to the game.
They're all unique. Halo's the only major one, but some of them look very, they're on that
Okay,
line. There's one
inspired
that looks
by-
like Dune, inspired by Dune for sure. Other
okay,
ones even
yeah.
look like Warhammer kind of inspired. So
Oh,
there's
okay,
some
okay.
there's some that have that inspiration.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to get more into that customization side of things. Yeah, I really enjoy the game. I've had a lot of fun with it so far, but yeah, I still feel like I've barely even scratched the surface of it. Any other fun anecdotes or things you want to share about this game at this point in time?
What else is there? It's just a whole bunch of really awesome moments. There's so many times where I'm I'm gonna do capture that last 30-second moment because it's awesome. There was a moment where everyone was dead, and so I threw a beacon down, got Tyler back in, but I was just running out of the city. I was running away from the objective. Tyler drops in right in front of me. I'm like, run. So he's running with me. Turn to look at my backside, and it's just like army of terminids just following us, like the two massive I can't remember what the different terminid species are called, but it was two of the really, really big ones on 4 legs. And yeah, it's just crazy. But I found a great counter for those things. I've got a new sentry, and it's got like the big, huge like shell casings that it just shoots out of it, and it's just like it's a long range like heavy artillery sentry, and this thing it's like and this thing just slams. Oh, and it's so satisfying just to see it on a distance where you see one of those things far away, and it's just like this artillery just boom boom boom.
Nice.
It's nice.
That sounds great. Oh yeah, one last question for you then. There's a timer. Every mission? Some missions?
Every mission.
Okay. In the later difficulties, has that ever been like a stressful thing for you? Like, oh shit, we're actually running out of time to do this stuff. We have to drop an objective, or has it kind of just like, is it a soft thing that makes you keep kind of pushing through, but it never actually really pressures you?
I've only had it become a problem once so far with Travis, Tyler, and Kirkland when we're playing. Other than that, usually we complete the mission well in advance of it and whatnot. And it doesn't mean that, oh, you're hooped, like the game is over at that point, but things get very, very difficult. If the timer runs out, you can't use your stratagems. You can't redeploy people anymore. You can't call in your abilities, but you can still call in the dropship if you complete the mission. So you can still do it. But
so really, again, like they stop giving you support other than literally the evac.
Yeah, their excuse is your warship can't stay in low orbit for a long, prolonged period of time, so it has to take
30 minutes
off.
max.
Yeah. Exactly.
Fair enough. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm very excited to play more of this game, and I'm sure we'll hear many updates throughout next few weeks on this. Any other games you've been playing that you wanted to share, or has it really just all been Helldivers for you?
Yeah, it's really just been Helldivers, feet first all week, really.
Cool. Yeah, let's take a quick break then, and we will be right back. All right, we are back. Taylor, do you remember Rogue Prince of Persia? Does that ring a bell? Do you remember this game?
Is that the GameCube one that came out ages ago? Or am I thinking of like Warrior Within?
Yeah, you're way off base, and that's totally okay. So, I just to scroll back time, the sands of time a little bit here. Yeah, no, there was Warrior Within. There was Sands of Time, all these games, but this is not that. So yeah, Prince of Persia. I feel like it's dormant. It was dormant for many years, and then they announced like they're doing a remake of Sands of Time, and that's been getting delayed and canceled and reignited and delayed again. I don't even know if that game is still happening to this point. But then somewhere after that, they announced 2 Prince of Persia games, 2 2D Prince of Persia games from separate teams, kind of a few months apart, which was kind of a weird idea. But the first one was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which was like the the Metroidvania game. That one came out last year and then got a DLC. People seem to really like that. I played a little bit of it on Ubisoft Plus. Enjoyed it a little bit, but I'm very picky when it comes to Metroidvanias. I need to really be in them. Really, really involved, like into the theme, I don't know, into the opening hours to stick with them. And then the other one that they announced a little bit afterwards was Rogue Prince of Persia, which is a roguelike Prince of Persia game. So a 2D, kind of going back to that very OG style Prince of Persia. And this game actually came out last year, I think in November, December, in early access on Steam. And then it's been just getting updates. And finally here in August 2025 is when it went 1.0. Along with that, it's on Game Pass. It's also on PS Plus, and therefore also assume it's on Ubisoft Plus. So it's freaking everywhere. It's like it's very easy for almost anyone to have access to this game. I don't know if it's on Switch or Switch 2, but it wouldn't be on a streaming service there or anything like that. But a very easy game to get your hands on, which is to me seems like an interesting strategy. Like I don't know, maybe they got some good deals from Game Pass and PS Plus, but like they're not an exclusive with them, so I don't know how good of a deal they would get. So I just don't know where the money's coming from for this game. It feels like they're just putting it out there. But I hope it finds its audience in some way, shape, or form. But overall, I think it's just really cool that for Prince of Persia Lost Crown and for Rogue Prince of Persia, that Ubisoft is just like giving this IP out to smaller or even bigger indie teams to let them have a swing at Prince of Persia and like keep this IP alive for what is going to be a smaller budget for sure, but it's also kind of a fresh take on the series. Obviously, with first being Metroidvania, this one being a roguelike. This one's also very Metroidvania coded, which makes sense because it's developed by Evil Empire, which is I guess a support studio or a co-developer of Dead Cells, which is a roguelike game that is a very Metroidvania sort of style. And so obviously pretty good pedigree there. Like they worked on the Dead Cells Castlevania DLC, support team on Dead Cells to some extent. It's really hard to know how much of the development they did. But in this case, I think this is their first time kind of making a game all on their own, or at least like this team under the name of Evil Empire. So yeah, all that context to say that this is kind of an interesting thing, and I think it's pretty cool that Ubisoft is doing this. I just don't know how much, like the fact that, you're into Ubisoft, you like Prince of Persia enough, I guess, whatever. But you didn't even like know what this game is. Obviously not a good sign for its like marketing and getting out there. It was at a Summer Game Fest. Maybe it was at a Game Awards. I forget. But like obviously between this, Lost Crown, it's easy to get confused and like forget about this game's existence. But even then, you're a Game Pass subscriber and like, didn't even see this game hit the service, right? So it's kind of weird. Like I just feel like they haven't been doing a great job of selling it. And I didn't even know it was launching 1.0 now. I was just on PS Plus, playing Sword of the Sea with Kirkland there and saw it on there. I was like, oh, sweet, I'll check this out. Why not? It's a new game on PS Plus. And so that's the only reason I knew it came out. And I haven't, any of the podcasts I listen to, video game websites I'm on, I'm not really seeing anyone talk about this game. So I just don't know if they did put their best foot forward in getting the word out there. And I also think whenever you do an early access launch, it's pretty easy for the game to kind of get lost in the shuffle of like, oh, it's early access, I'll come back and check out the game when it's 1.0. But then if you don't super advertise that it's going 1.0, people don't really know what to do with that information. And then like neither of the launches really hit and the game just, falls to the bottom. So all that context to say that this game is freaking great. I am loving it. I'm having a great time with it. I'm playing it as some roguelikes. I like to do this where I'll just do one run a day, kind of the way you're playing Helldivers, doing some drops every night. For me, it's like I'm going to do one run of this game a day. If I die super early, that's fine. That was my run for the day. I'll come back the next day, try another one here. And yeah, it is a roguelike. When it comes to roguelikes, just like Metroidvanias these days, I'm extremely picky. It is pretty rare for me to get super invested in a roguelike, and I didn't expect to be with this one because I don't really like Dead Cells. It's maybe a bit of a hot take for roguelike fans. I just don't think the game feels very great. I don't like the locomotion of it. I didn't love the Metroidvania design. But to me, I feel like this is such a big improvement over that in terms of the movement, in terms of the simplicity of the maps is a bit easier for me to follow with. And then like the roguelike elements of it come across in a pretty straightforward way. So I am, really, really enjoying it. And like I'm saying, I'm pretty harsh critic when it comes to roguelikes these days. And I'm pretty easy to just like, I don't want to, put the mastery into this. But I think the tell will be, how much do I play this game after I've beat it for the first time? And I actually think I just did that like a couple hours ago, finally beat my first run. But I can't really tell story-wise. Like, it seems like they're setting it up that I didn't actually beat the Lost Bell. So I'm guessing there's like more to do afterwards or more things I've unlocked. So we'll see what happens there and how much I stick with it. But at least for... I've done like 8-9 runs now, finally beat the game, 4 or 5 hours in, something like that. Even if I stopped now, I'd still think it would be like a really great time overall. I think where the Prince of Persia-ness of it comes in is with a lot of the movement. So obviously it has like, there's poles everywhere that you're swinging around on. You're doing wall runs. You're, vertically climbing up walls. Obviously like the wall run is kind of weird in a 2D game, but the way it works is like, if there's literally in the background of the map like a wall behind you, oftentimes the walls are like kind of broken in half, so only part of the wall is there, or there's a window in the way. But you can just like wall run, and you can like wall run into like air dash, and then if you like land into a wall, you'll start climbing that, and then you get all of those movement options back. So then you can jump off the wall run into the wall again, and just like infinitely climb vertically as long as there's a wall there. And then as you're jumping through things, going off obstacles, combining a wall run into a jumping off a pole, you get like this passive speed boost thing, which I think is really great for if you're playing the early levels of the game over and over again, which is going to happen in a roguelike. You're not going to be bored out of your skull because you're just flying through the maps. You're getting like such big movement speed to it. So I think they did a really good thing there. But like overall, the game just moves super, super fluidly, feels great. And like the air dash thing you can do that on the ground, of course. And if you do it near an enemy, you kind of do like the Assassin's Creed style, like jump over someone's back and then like start stabbing them from behind, like that kind of thing. Fable has that too, which I always find really fun. So rather than having to get like a really good parry time, and I can kind of just do a fun air dash, which as Mr. Anti-Parry, it works for me pretty well. And then the combat's pretty straightforward, very hack and slashy. You're doing those kind of dodge attacks into striking someone's back. You have a basic weapon, and then you have like an assist weapon, which could be like a chain hook, could be like a bow and arrow kind of thing. So that's kind of like the basic gameplay of it. As you're going through these maps, you might have to do like some simple puzzle solving. Some of the sections, there's no enemies at all, and it's just like intense parkour challenges, which once again, very fitting for the Prince of Persia IP, but also I feel like it's something that's kind of rare for roguelike platformers. Usually it's kind of more about the combat, and I think to really focus in on just like, here's a fun parkour sequence, and like sometimes pretty challenging, you got to be super precise, is like a really good way to mix it up there. So I think they've done a good job of like capturing what makes something Prince of Persia specifically. I'm really enjoying that basic gameplay of it. In terms of the roguelike stuff, like so many things to unlock at this point. Even when I beat my first run, I unlocked this whole other mechanic around like making the runs harder for like more rewards. So that's exciting. Excited to check out some of that. And let's see what else. I think one of the things is like some of the levels, even though the movement is really fun, some of the earlier levels feel a little bit repetitive. Like obviously there's that roguelike, like a little bit of randomness, but some of them do feel quite a bit the same. Talking about Spelunky again, like that's a game that I'm just always amazed how, no matter I know how many runs I've done, like the 2D levels always feel like a fun new Mario level that I've never seen before. Whereas in this, already after a few runs, like, okay, I feel like I've seen this kind of landmark a few times. I've done this move, and once again, it is fun to move through it still, but I just don't know how much legs it's going to have, how much it's going to carry me through that whole experience. And then I think, lastly, the thing I wanted to shout out about it is, as you're going through this, your goal is to just like survive to the very end, beat the final boss, sure. But there's also all sorts of bonus objectives of like, you got to free your brother who's been captured. You got to go to this lady and get a lever, and then go to this particular part of the world, and then put the lever in there, and that shoots the water down, and that like all these kind of things. And it's in some roguelikes that can be really overwhelming. Speaking of Spelunky again, very obscure, all of the things you got to pair together, so I have to like write things down on a piece of paper, in notepad on my phone, whatever it is. In this game, they do a really good job of like, when you're looking at the world map of like all the levels you could go to, you can just like hover over it and just tell you like, these are the 3 or 4 objectives you have here. And then there's like a mind map, they call it, which is kind of like an Outer Wilds thing for people who've played that game. But it's essentially like a giant bulletin board that has like, here's this piece of information, how to free your brother. And it's like, okay, this part of the map will be relevant for that. You need this item. And so it'll kind of like, put the string on the map, connect the red lines, the red markers if you're trying to, find a case if you're an investigator. It's kind of like that, where it pieces a lot of this information together in a pretty visually satisfying way that helps you keep track of all the threads that are going on. I'm not going to lie, I'm skipping a lot of dialogue in this game, and so that helps me as well to kind of keep track of everything there. So, yeah, I'm having a great time with this game. I'm going to keep playing it. I don't know how much more I'll keep playing it after I've kind of seen most of this story stuff or beat what I feel like is kind of the main objective of the game. But that's pretty typical for me. Most roguelike, it's hard for me to stick around after I beat the game once or twice. I'm usually moving on to the next thing. But there are the odd roguelikes that I just can't put down. So, yeah, if anyone's looking for a game that sounds like, a nice new 2D roguelike, really good movement, decent combat, decent variety, I think this one's a really great fit. I think if you're a Dead Souls fan, you'll probably really like this, because I'm not even a Dead Souls fan. I really like what they've done here as kind of evolving that formula. So, yeah, I definitely highly recommend this game. Taylor as well. Once again, it's on Game Pass, so if you're into that, you're not really a big roguelike guy, so I don't know if you'll like that format of it, but even just jump in for a couple hours, feel that movement out is pretty fun. I think, obviously, there's a lot of similarities between Prince of Persia and Assassin's Creed, so maybe you'll like that as well, because have you played any of those 2D Assassin's Creed games, those like spin-off ones? Like where they have
I've
Assassin's
played
Creed Russia and whatever, Mexico or India or whatever.
Oh, I've got all of those ones, but I've not played them. They were free on Xbox Gold with my membership back in the day, so I got them for free. But the ones I have played are Altair's Chronicles and Discovery. Okay. Those were 2 DS ones that were
cool. I didn't even know about those.
Side-scrolling versions. So yeah, those are good.
Yeah. So I don't know. This might scratch a similar itch. It's pretty interesting there. So yeah, don't forget about this one, people. It's a game that just came out and is probably on a subscription service that you currently have, so it's very easily accessible. I don't even know how much it is regularly, but I'm having a great time with it so far. So there you go. There is Rogue Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia. That's the one. All right. Shall we move on to the preview, the fall preview, Taylor Field?
Shall.
All right. So I sent you a link to thegreatgameinformer.com/2025, which is where I kind of keep up to date with all the releases that are happening. And we're just kind of somewhat breeze through this, stop on ones that are interesting. If I blast past a date of game that seems interesting to you, please, stop me in my tracks and we'll bring it up. But, the first thing to kind of kick off this September and fall is, of course, Hollow Knight Silksong. The much anticipated indie game Metroidvania is finally coming out after all these years, September 4th, in just a short couple days here. A lot of rumors circling that it seems like the price of this is going to be $20 US, so like 25 Canadian, which is shocking to me. I thought this was going to be like $40, $50, just because I feel like this game's been anticipated for so long. One of the highest acclaimed like indie games. I feel like they could have charged a lot more, but it's interesting that they're still like, I think the first game was like $15. So the fact that they're only putting, essentially a surcharge of like $5, $10 on it over the first one is interesting. So we'll see if that price actually sticks. I will probably end up picking up this game, even though I never finished the first Hollow Knight. I've probably played like half of it and just, I don't know, got stuck at some point, maybe didn't play it for a few days, totally lost where I was. So we'll see what kind of improvements they make to the sequel in terms of if you're getting lost, if the game like helps you through it in any way. But yeah, I'm excited to check this one out. Any interest in a Hollow Knight after hearing all the acclaim for it over the years, Taylor?
Ooh, interest, yes, and it would be definitely on my list. Well, it is on my list, but I just don't know at what point I would get around to trying it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always one of those games when I walk around like video game store, like Walmart or in the electronics section, and I see it on the shelf, and it always catches my eye.
Yeah. And I feel like, was it supposed to be on Game Pass? It actually is coming to Game Pass, so forget what I said about the price. I guess I'll be playing it. I'm not even subscribed to Game Pass right now, so I'll figure it out. Either I'll subscribe to Game Pass again, or I will buy it outright. I'm not sure. It would be a good Switch title, I think, if it's on there day one, which I do believe it is. So yeah, that's going to be a big one. Really curious to see if that lands for people, if it's as good as that first one, because I like the first one, but obviously I didn't even finish it, so it's not one of my all-time favorites in the way it is for many other people. So yeah, really curious to see what happens with that one. Next up, I guess we can shout out on September. Well, I think the same day is when the Indiana Jones DLC comes out. So also one I'm excited to hear what people think about that. I enjoyed that game enough. I think for the price is right, I could see myself picking it up, but I don't think I'd be doing that at launch. Just because I'm kind of busy with other games right now, I think. But that's coming out same day. I know you and Travis aren't too keen on picking up that DLC. Had a good time with the main game, but like don't need to play the DLC at least right now, because obviously that's not on Game Pass. Got to buy that separate, right?
Yeah, that's right. I did see an article talking about how they were changing the detail of the hair textures from triangles to circles to get the best hair visual graphics of anything of all time, just for the hair and the Indiana Jones characters.
The hair was triangles and now it's circle?
Let me see if I can find what they did here. Indiana Jones
astounding
hair.
to me. I mean, it's probably at an extremely microscopic level, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what that means, but cool.
Here, I'm going to share my screen here so you can get the down low. So NVIDIA's RTX hair technology replaces traditional triangle-based hair rendering with linear swept spheres in Indiana Jones: The Great Circle, creating a more realistic, rounded look for the hair. I don't know how well you can see that. So this is the old, this is the new. So it looks better.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for it. To me, that looks just darker, but I'll take your word for it.
Spheres. It's all in the spheres.
Yeah, I mean, I've dabbled a bit in game development now, but I'm not at that level where I know the difference between spherical and LSS.
You got to stop using those triangles. That's all it is.
Okay, sounds good. No more triangles, only circles. Okay, I'll keep that in mind when I'm trying to make a nice head of hair for a character in a game in the future. September 5th has a couple heavy hitters. Chronos: The New Dawn, which is the Bloober Team horror game, which looks really great. It seems to me like maybe their step up from the Medium and Blair Witch. It seems like maybe they're time to jump in and get like that kind of top tier horror game. So we'll see what happens there. And then Demon X Machina Titanic Scion, which I think people like that first game, so you're getting a sequel there for Switch 2. It's coming to everything as well, but I think that is a good sequel to get over there. And then even including Everybody's Golf, Hot Shots. People love that series, and I feel like it's been a while since they've had one of them. So yeah, kind of interesting there, like a big kind of maybe Switch sequel sort of game, PlayStation golf game that people really love, and then a new horror game. So interesting kind of trifecta there. We'll see what kind of games are really people grabbing from that particular week. And then I know that I just want to bring this up because I think it's funny that there is Garfield Kart 2, All You Can Drift, is a game coming out September 10th. And then I think it's that same month, or maybe it's the month after. We'll talk about it at some point. But Sonic Cross Worlds is also coming out. So another 2 kart racers from Sonic and Garfield, which is kind of crazy because we just had Mario Kart World, of course. So obviously a lot of kart racers coming out this year, surprisingly. I don't know if people will be talking about Garfield much, but I gotta say the other day or at some point in time, I was on Reddit or YouTube or something like that, and an ad popped up, just like a looping GIF for Sonic Cross Worlds. I'm not gonna lie, I could not take my eyes off it. I thought that, like, the gameplay looked great, like the combo of movements and like jumping off things. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, maybe that was Disney Speedstorm. I don't even know what game it was. It was one of those two because they look very similar to me. And I was like, I can't keep my eyes off it. This game looks absolutely appetizing. So I do want to play that at some point. I think it looks fun, and obviously you have crossovers with all the other kind of Capcom sort of worlds, which is a really fun idea. So yeah, interesting idea. We'll see what happens there. Or Sega Worlds. Am I getting that wrong? Capcom, Sega, same difference, right? Something like that. There you go. There's that one. Taylor, Borderlands 4. Where are you at with Borderlands in your life?
Oh, ever since Borderlands 2, I'm just not present with the others. Borderlands 2 was just a all-time high for me.
Right.
Yeah, it's just an amazing game. And they did like Tina's Wonderland, the pre-sequel, Borderlands 3, all these other ones. I mean, I played a bit of the pre-sequel. I played a little bit of Borderlands 3, and there's nothing really was just pulling me in. By the time we got to Tina's Wonderland, I really was just kind of zoned out of it. Yeah, I think the only ones that are there are really just the diehards. I don't know if there's anyone that's really like, oh, I wonder what this IP is like, and hopping into it at Borderlands 4, because I mean, the first two are just like that's where it is for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm similar to you, but even worse. Where I'm like, yeah, I just played the first one, and like that was kind of my vibe. I did play some of the second one. I did play some of the pre-sequel, but not not games I played for more than 4 or 5 hours or something. But yeah, Borderlands 1 was just such a peak experience for me that it was so good that I like don't even need more. I've mentioned that before, but like there are some series like that for me where sometimes a game can be so great and I don't ever need a sequel. Just that one is great for me. And I feel like especially after hearing Borderlands 3, which seemed like, yeah, it was fine, but like even that game's probably super cheap now, so it's like if I wanted to get my Borderlands on, I'd probably go to Borderlands 3 or Tiny Tina's, which I still think looks really fun. And I will play those games eventually maybe, but yeah, I'm definitely not keen for Borderlands 4, but I think Jessica is, so if she's got her mic set up, I know she's moved recently, if she's all set up, I'd love to get her on Sidequest and hear her thoughts on that one, because obviously she's a diehard fan. She's got it tattooed on her body. She's a big Borderlands, her kid's named after Borderlands characters in a way, so yeah, big fan there, so hopefully we can get her on and share some of those thoughts. And then Lego Voyagers, that's that co-op, so I don't know if I mentioned this, Borderlands 4, September 12th, and then on the 15th, we have Lego Voyagers, which is that interesting looking co-op platform puzzler sort of experience for Lego. I think the game looks really great. I don't know if I have someone to play it with, and I don't think it's like one-on-one. I don't even know if you can play it alone or if you need to play it co-op. But I think it looks really cool, so definitely one to put on the radar. Same day is Little Witch in the Woods, and I wanted to bring this one up because this actually is a game that's been on my radar for a few years. It's kind of like a top-down, almost like a Stardew kind of cozy experience where you're a witch, brewing potions, probably doing some fighting, exploring a world. And I was kind of surprised to see this release date here because I went on it's been on Steam for a while in early access, and I went on the Steam page, and like it does not have this release date listed. And then I went in like the early access bubble, and it was like the full release is planned for 2023, and there's just been no update from there. And that's, to me, is kind of worrying if like their early access information is outdated by a whole 2 calendar years. So it makes me a little bit worried for the state of the game. So we'll see what happens with that one. But like I said, it has been on my radar for a long time. So cool to see that one's finally coming out. The day after that is Skate. Skate in early access, the new Skate game. And actually, I meant to pull up. There was a new trailer for this that just came out, kind of announcing the early access date. And I don't know how much that's going to be or how fully fledged that early access is going to be. I didn't play any of those early preview things that they had, like closed betas for or whatever. Any interest in Skate? You ever played these Skate games?
I've played a few. Yeah, nothing. I mean, beyond I don't know, beyond the norm. Like going to my friend's house after school and then
just
just
messing
playing it.
around.
Then yeah, super super casual. Nothing beyond that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very interested in this game. I'm concerned about the live service nature of it because that does not fit Skate well, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens there. But this is definitely a wait for the full release kind of game. Unless the previews are insane and the early access is a fully fledged game, people feel that way. I'd be shocked if they did. But I definitely want to get back and get some more Skate going on in my life. So we'll see what happens there. Dying Light the Beast, which is like a spin-off, sequel-y kind of thing for Dying Light 2, is coming out September 19th. Yeah, where are you at with Dying Light? Because you like the first one, right? But I don't think you ever played the sequel, right?
I never played the sequel, and they had a pretty big expansion to that first one too. But I really loved the first game, and I played the absolute, the daylights out of it. I remember talking to Kirkland all about that back at the Target days, and it's just that game it's still sitting very high on my happy place list for video games, and I'd love to play some of these other ones. I need to invest the time into it because it's a lot of time. But the parkour system and the idea that you're going out at nighttime and then you've got like these UV sensitive night zombies to deal with that are super parkour and super hard to deal with, and it's just a terrifying experience, and that other people can join your match and play as one of these zombies, and so you basically got this
cool.
1v4 setup at nighttime, which is just, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like I need to play these games because it's like everything you're describing about it is exactly the kind of games I'm into, and just for whatever reason I haven't played that series yet. Probably because there's millions of games that exist, and I can only play so many in a given calendar day, and I already play an insane amount. So, yeah, the highlight's definitely on my list, but the Beast is not when I'll be jumping in to the series, unfortunately. Jumping up to the 23rd, we have a Baby Steps, which is that weird Bennett Foddy game with the weird controls where you're playing like this grown baby man and you're kind of walking through this world. Seems like very comedic, very funny, janky controls, all that good stuff that the developer has done before. So I'm really curious to see what this one is. I don't know what the price point of it is. If it's the right price, I could see myself checking it out because it just seems like a weird, freaky mess, and I'm into that kind of thing. And then, here we go. On September 25th is Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, actually. So that's only a short couple weeks after Garfield. We'll see which kart racer takes the sweep of September. Where's your money on that one? If you had to pizza bet, which one do you think is doing numbers?
I mean, Garfield got a sequel, so it must be doing something right.
That's true. Sonic Crossworlds is also a sequel, though, I believe.
Ooh. Well, don't we have a Garfield movie coming out right now? Didn't Chris Pratt announce it? So I think you're going to have that movie hype.
Didn't that come out like 2 years ago?
There's a new one, I thought.
Oh, a sequel. A sequel to that as well.
The sequel, yeah.
I thought that movie kind of tanked at the box office, though, the first one.
The Garfield movie was 2024. But the sequel, Garfield 2, is officially in production with Chris Pratt. So,
but Taylor, counter-argument, how many Sonic movies has there been? A fucking Knuckles TV show, which I know you and Kirkland love so much.
We're counting animated films as well.
Is that true? Animated movie coming out?
I think there's some animated films out there, but I know 3 live actions and then the live action series. So, and maybe a fourth one with that, how they're going.
For some reason, though, it sounds like you're Team Garfield on this debate.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate?
I'm playing devil's advocate, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Someone's got to do that for Garfield, or else he's a lonely cat, Shoutouts to both those games. I would love to play them, but I don't know if I want to buy them. Also on the 25th is Silent Hill F. That is a game I want to play, but it's also $100, and I don't know if I'm throwing $100 on a random bet. So I'm excited to see the previews of that one. And, October, I'm always want to play scary games. I always want to play scary or watch scary movies. So if the reviews are really good for Silent Hill F, I might just impulse buy it because that's my cup of tea for sure, and I definitely want to do that. I already have a couple games on my list that I got to play in my scary season this year. I'm going to get back into some more Resident Evil. I was thinking maybe pick up another Amnesia game, play through another one of those. Maybe Evil Within finally. So I already have a few on the list. So I don't know if I'm going to get to Silent Hill F, but we shall see. I've also never played a game in the series, so a bit of a wild card there. Then we have, what's the next thing that stands out? Final Fantasy Tactics on September 30th. That remake, I do want to check that out at some point, but I don't know if I'm going to be day one in that bad boy. Lego Party on the 30th. That was one of the games you added on your draft, right?
Oh, did I get that one? Yeah, I think that's the one that I picked.
Which is essentially Mario Party for Lego. So once again, interesting, 2 Lego games coming out this month, and not like from TT Games. So that's kind of weird and cool, right?
Yeah, no, it'll be cool to see how this does. I can't remember if we've ever had like a Mario Party styled Lego game before, but it seems to kind of go hand in hand. Like it makes sense when you can
Hmm.
incorporate all these classic IPs like Lego Pirates and Lego Knights and all that kind of stuff into different
Yeah.
mini games. So it seems cool.
It'd be even cooler if it had like a lot of the IP from their other crossovers, like get some Star Wars characters fighting against Batman, fighting against Superman, like or yeah, fighting against like Marvel characters. Like I think that would be super cool, but that would obviously be a lot of money, a lot of different people's
Yes.
pockets. So I don't think that's realistic. Maybe someday we'll get that crossover.
Hmm.
People talk about that, like we ever get that like DC Marvel crossover in like the MCU, DCU, whatever. I feel like it's most likely to happen in like the Lego universe. Maybe when we finally get those crossovers, it would be the first time I could see something like that happening. Did that even happen in one of the Lego movies, Lego Batman or something? Was there a Marvel character in there? I don't think there was, but I feel like there could have been.
It's highly probable.
Yeah, yeah. That takes us over to October, and the first game of October is on the second coast of Yotai, which is obviously a game me, Kirkland, and Travis are all very interested in. I think Kirkland's probably going to pick it up. Travis might as well. I'm still a little bit on the fence. I'm excited about Legends, which is coming out next year, but since it doesn't come out till next year, the multiplayer add-on, I might leave this one on the bench for the moment. So we'll see. But obviously, this game is it's going to be great. I mean, I have no doubt that it's going to be great. I'm just once again trying to plan my time. Which games do I want to play? And there's just too much, so I gotta pick and choose and be really mean about it to other games. Let's see. Okay, I gotta ask you about this one. Battlefield 6, October 10th.
Mm.
You played the beta, right? You jumped into that bad boy
I
and
jumped
played
into
some
that
of that.
bad boy. Yeah.
So where are you at for this full release? Are you wanting to pick this game up and get into Battlefield?
I mean, it should be dropping on Games Pass as far as I'm concerned. So
EA through
I'll
AA
be,
Play?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll most likely be going into this pretty hard for the first couple of weekends.
Right.
For what I played on the beta, and some of my friends were diving in there too. It was just such a good time. I was having a blast with just work again, more four-player co-op stuff, squad based, and some of these
Mm-hmm.
maps. Like when I got into a fighter jet, I crashed. That was some of the most brutalist like mechanics, just trying to make it work and pull it off. But just moving around with a sniper and just decking out your class a little bit and whatnot, it's an absolute good time. The environments are fantastic, and it just feels vibrant and fresh. And it's been a while since the last time I got into Battlefield was Battlefield 4, and there's been so many like Hardline, 2042, and a bunch of others that have come out since then, and none that have really pulled me in. I skipped most of those, and I wanted to get into 42, but I didn't. And I think the only reason 42 is popping off right now is because you can unlock cosmetics for Battlefield 6 by playing 42, so everyone's
Oh,
gone to
okay.
play it. It's had a little bit of a
I
resurgence
was
only
wondering
because
about
the
that.
beta
Yeah, that
ended.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
so there's that. But everything with the beta was great. It was super awesome and high octane and intense. And between that and Helldivers, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how I'm going to be handling all of
Yeah.
this excitement.
Yeah, hopefully by like mid-October, maybe hopefully you'll still be super into Helldivers, but maybe the
Oh
hype
yeah.
will wear up a little bit and you'll be open to playing something else. But yeah, I think for us, it's like always interesting to see when we have the weekends, the nights free. Where are we going on the multiplayer front? Outlast Trials took over for a little bit. Most of the time, it's Warzone, which is like the default background. Jump into Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we had for a few weeks there. So it's always interesting to see which ones stick. And I think Helldivers is going to be one of those ones that
Hmm.
sticks. And I imagine we'll be playing that through the end of the year and into the next battle pass and all that stuff. So we'll see how many weekends Battlefield 6 can steal away from us is kind of the way I think about it. Because yeah, if it is on Game Pass, which as you mentioned it should be, I'll definitely jump into it as well. I'm pretty green when it comes to Battlefield. I've only kind of dabbled in those games a little bit. Kind of how much you've played Skate, just playing at your friend's house every once in a while is kind of where I'm at with Battlefield.
Hmm.
But there's a lot to like there, and I think especially because I think of Battlefield as like a slower, more tactical first-person shooter, and obviously we talked about this with like Call of Duty last year, how I'm getting older. My reflexes, I just can't keep up with these kids anymore. Dashing around, omnidirectionally diving around corner. I can't keep up with it. And so maybe Battlefield, slower pace, maybe that's what I need in my senile state. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm excited for Battlefield 6. I did not play in the weekend. I think it's had a couple weekends now, right? But I did not play any of those. So I don't really know what to expect from this, other than that I've heard great things from pretty much everyone who's played it, which is a really good sign for an unfinished game that people are playing, because normally it's like riddled with issues. People have problems here, there, and I'm sure there were a fair number of bugs and shitty servers and all that. But I feel like it's mostly positive. So that's a good sign. Maybe I should have prefaced this earlier on. I'm not bringing up every single game that's coming out because there's hundreds of them, even on this shorter list. I'm just bringing up the ones I think are kind of relevant for us here in this group. So, if I've skipped over something, sorry about that, but it's probably not on our radar. Let's see. I think next up, I want to do a quick ad break. So let's catch our breath. Slow down a little bit. Let's thank our Patreon producers of Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, GGLM, 6ix9ine, Jeremy Renner, Charlie Rendell, Cocktail Clay, and John with no H. Thank you all so much for keeping the lights on. So many things are releasing in Geekverse right now. All sorts of TV shows, all sorts of newscasts. We're still doing all sorts of 10-year celebration stuff. Go check out the trivia once again if you missed that. Just a million great things. So yeah, if you haven't checked that stuff, go do. Thank you to the patrons and everyone else who listens, watches, throws a like down, leaves a review, all that good stuff. I appreciate every single one of you. Let's take our last break. We will be right back. Okay, we are back. Taylor Field, we are in early October. Well, technically we're in early September, but in our clairvoyant state, we are looking ahead at October, just like your trivia battle. And another Little Nightmares 3 is another horror game coming out in October. I've not played any of these games yet, unfortunately, but I feel like I need to. So rather than playing the third one, I'll probably go back and check out the first one at some point, which I probably should. It's probably super cheap now. That might be another horror game to put on my list for this year. But the third game's coming out October 10th, so that's pretty good. Oh, it also looks like the first one, Enhanced Edition, is coming out that same day. So that's interesting, little 1-2 punch. Perfect time to jump into the series. We got a Just Dance game. We got a NASCAR game. October is a busy month for me, and it starts right about here around the 15th with Ball Pit, which is a weird indie game published by Devolver Digital. Kind of looks a lot like Loop Hero, and it's kind of like a brick breaker sort of game with roguelike elements and a bunch of weird stuff going on and a town builder mixed in there. I'm extremely excited for this game. I think it looks really weird, really cryptic, really interesting, really different. So I'm definitely going to be picking that one up. That's, there's so many games in October, and it's hard to pick and choose which ones I want to play. But that one's like a guaranteed 100% pickup. Unless the reviews are like dog shit, like it's 20 on Metacritic, then maybe I'll rethink things. But I don't know. I think it'll be at least pretty interesting. So interested in that one. And then Pokemon Legends ZA, Pokemon ZA is coming out 16th. Taylor, tell me a bit about this one. As the I'm a very casual Pokemon guy, but you're more of a Pokemon guy.
Yeah, I've been following this loosely. You're not going again. So I'll start from the top. Pokemon X and Y, one of my favorites. It's an underrated one, I'd say. A lot of people hate that. They don't like the Mega Evolution, anything like that. This is circling back to that. We're going to Lumio City. We're getting Mega Evolution coming back. I am totally on board for it. But the game itself just being limited to this kind of the city and whatnot, I was hoping for something a little bit more mainline, a little bit more explorative and whatnot. But that being said, to each his own. I think that them introducing all these new Mega Evolutionary forms is great. Like Dragonair getting Mega Evolution, Victory Bill, Halucha, like they're popping off right now. Halucha, he's packing heat. He is. So there's a whole bunch of cool new forms that they're bringing out, and that really, really has me excited. That'll change the competitive scene a little bit more, but at its core, I'm not going to be rushing to get this right away. I still have to go back and play Legends Arceus first here to try and feel out how that one is, and I'm still playing through. And I think you'd like
Violet
that more, game.
Considering like the openness of it. Well, I guess Violet's also scratching that itch though in terms of the openness and not being in the city, but like being in the wild.
It is, and I have to boot it up on the Switch too because I've seen that they've supplied little updates to it. So I don't know if visually if it's better. I have to.
I think the frame rates are better, and maybe slight visual improvement, but probably not a ton of change there. Maybe would you be playing that handheld or on the TV? I guess you kind of play
on the TV. I'd play on the TV.
So I don't know if you notice much of a difference because I feel like with handheld you're going from 720 to 1080, but I don't know if the TV's changing much there. But at least the frame rate should be better for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pokemon Legends. I'm curious to see how that one does, and like if we keep getting more of this kind of spin-off thing. And obviously we're due for the next generation. Probably, what is that going to be next year? Is that going to be 2 years from now, do you think?
When did Scarlet and Violet come out?
God, I think it was like 2023.
2022, yeah.
Wow.
So
okay. long time
And
ago.
before that, what was it before that? Sword and Shield?
Well, Arceus was the same year. Wasn't it also 2023?
Yes, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily different,
Sword and
like
Shield was around the
generation.
launch of the Switch, like 2018, 2019.
2019. Yeah, your dates are on point. Damn. So
What do I do here?
2019, 2022. So about, yeah, 3 years, 3, 4 years. So I'd say we're due for one.
And I mean, Violet, they kind of just pooped that one out, didn't they? Like, I don't know
Oh,
how
they did.
much. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully
they
they've.
excreted it.
Oh yeah, hopefully they've been, putting that juice into this next one instead. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I haven't played the game. I'm just, judging that frame rate because it deserves to be judged.
Oh, it does. Yeah. God damn.
Okay, well, since ZA's staying on the shelf, does that mean I'm jumping ahead? I'll jump back afterwards. But does that mean you have capacity for Jurassic World Evolution 3 on the 21st? Is that a pickup for you, or is that a wait and see?
I know I want to play it. I know it's going to be a good
Yeah.
time because they've introduced what looks like adolescent dinosaurs or juvenile dinosaurs, I'll say, family groups, and a whole bunch more of different things. And I've gone back and like a few months ago, I was playing more Jurassic World Evolution 2, just building like a super custom island and whatnot,
Sweet.
just having fun sandbox mode. But for this, I'm absolutely going to wait for it to go on sale. I've seen
Okay.
sales of Jurassic World Evolution 2 being like $2, $3.
And the first two games went on Game Pass and PS Plus at different points, I think.
Yes.
So this one could as well.
That's right. And yeah, I'm just going to wait. I can wait. If I want to play it, I got the other two to get me by, so I'm in no hurry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, a game I want to play at some point, but I still barely scratched the surface of 2 and 1, so I feel like I have a lot more to sandbox around, playing the sandbox with before I need to get into the third one. And then going back in time, October 17th and 20th, we got Keeper and then Ninja Gaiden 4 back to back. These are a couple games hitting Game Pass, and so I'll be playing both of them through there. Keeper I'm very interested in. I've never played a Double Fine game. This is going to be my first time jumping in. But I'm sure it'll be, one of many because a lot of their games kind of speak to me. And then Ninja Gaiden 4, I played the remake of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, I think is what it was called. That came out earlier this year. It's not really my cup of tea. I didn't really expect it to be, and it wasn't. I don't think this will be either. But because it's Game Pass, I'll play the first couple levels and see how that goes for me. And who knows? Maybe I'll stick with it. But yeah, I'm excited. That's going to be a big week for Game Pass. 2 pretty big gets. One of the first-party games, and then like a big third-party for them. And one that's closely associated with Xbox. Both the games are coming to PlayStation as well, but I think that'll be a good week for that service. And then skipping ahead, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, another one on October 23rd that I'm 100% picking this up. There's some new levels, some new content, some new things going on in there, and I just love that game so much. Coming to the Switch, so the first game's not even on there, so 100% day one pickup for me. I'm excited to tell you and Kirkland all about that one because you guys are obviously fans of that as well. You're probably not going to pick that one up at launch. Maybe wait for a sale or something down the road, kind of thing.
I'll probably wait for a sale. I mean, I've been playing the old Plants vs Zombies on my phone. I downloaded that again and just been enjoying that world.
Yeah, and I don't think the changes are monumental, like some new challenge levels or whatever. But you don't need all that kind of stuff. The base game already has a ton of content in it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then also another big Game Pass get for the month is October 29th is The Outer Worlds 2, which is a game that I, just knowing the size of it, which, not the hugest RPG, I don't know if I'm going to be playing that one at launch. I probably will jump into it. I'm sure all the improvements will be there. I've talked about my journey Outer Worlds 1 kind of extensively before, so I don't need to repeat here. But just because of the time of the year, I just don't know how much I'll be wanting to jump into that new experience at that point in time. So we'll see. I would like to check it out. Had a good time with Avowed this year, even if it kind of lost a bit of its special qualities by the time I got to the end game. So hopefully Outer Worlds 2 does not do that. It's a sequel, so hopefully it has a good chance to kind of right its wrongs for the first game and come with some fresh new stuff. So we'll see. I'll be playing that one. You played the first one through Game Pass. Do you think you'll jump into this one? There's a ton of games on Game Pass this month, so you're obviously stripped for time already.
Yeah, no, I am. I don't know if I'm gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna be racing to hopping on here right away. But again, like the Hollow Knight, it's gonna be on my eye.
On your eye, yeah. We got Dragon Quest 1+2 HD remakes. I actually just bought the original Dragon Quest 1 and 2 on Switch recently, so I'm just going to play those instead, I think, and then maybe jump into the remakes at some point. And then, speaking of Hollow Knight, Mina the Hollower, it's coming out October 31st, which is another day one for me. I played the demo a little bit just to be like, oh yeah, this game's great. I think what they've done with Shovel Knight and what they're doing here, really, really cool. I love the kind of retro style, old kind of, taking some of the classic Nintendo sauce and making like a modern version of it. So very excited for this game. It's going to be great. I have no doubt about that. So yeah, Mina the Hollow is a pickup for me for sure. Tomb Raider 2D No Fate. Do you know what that game is?
I watched. They did a nice, cool reveal trailer for that. Really like it. It's just I think it's a remastered of the old Terminator game. Just updated and
art style looks great.
Yeah,
I love the picture.
Yeah, it's. I saw that and I just wanted to play it, even though I don't think I would be very good at it or get very far. But just the score, that OG Terminator theme kicking in, and just the graphics, it just looks very nostalgic.
Hell yeah! Right on. Let's move right along to November. Kicking off November is the 5th of November. We have Cairn, which is the rock climbing game, kind of a very close simulation rock climbing game. Very excited for this one. I think it looks great. Kirkland played it and enjoyed it, although I think he had some difficulty with it. He found it a little hard to parse. It's very, very technical, I think, is kind of the vibe I'm getting from it. But I think that game looks really great. Probably going to be picking that one up for myself. And then what else in November? It looks a little bit quiet until a lot of Switch 2 ports is one thing I'm seeing here. Until we get to the 13th, Anno 117, which I'll just shout out because it's on your draft list. So there you go. You're getting, I didn't even know it had a subtitle. Pax Romana is what it's called. So there you go. You're not playing that, right? It's just a draft pick for you? Yeah.
That was a draft pick because I think those Anno games do pretty good.
Yeah. And then another one that I'll play it only because it's on Game Pass, but Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Excited to maybe see what's going on new with zombies. Campaign, I'll check out a little bit. I'll play some of the multiplayer, but probably just get overwhelmed by these controls. Like, is Omni movement still in this? And like,
I hope not.
Diving
Fuck, I hope not. Jesus
I just kind of assume
Christ.
like all the new Call of Duty games have that. Like, that's just a new basic feature.
The only Omni movement I need in my life is Helldivers 2. I don't need it in Call of Duty.
Where's your hype level for 7? Are you excited to check this games out? The campaign, just zombies, not at all?
No. For me, zombies peaked when they brought it in Modern Warfare, and they did the open world. Like, okay, you're dropping in, you got like 50 minutes in this whole cityscape, do a bunch of missions, whatnot. There's other squads that you can run into doing things. Like, it was an absolute banger of a time. And they went back to round-based zombies, and round-based zombies nowadays is just, for me, to each his own. For me, it's garbage. It's not what it was like in those first few Black Ops games, and then again, like World at War. It's very different, and like the gobble gums and everything like that. And it's just, this is lame. I like your OG 4 perks, your pack punch, just the basic of the basic, and even the maps too were just better back then. The maps now are, I don't know, they're lame, and it kind of defeats the purpose of the round base, because to me it feels like it's just a swing and a miss for trying to be something a little bit more open world. And then they focus heavily on doing the story missions in there too, where you do all the objectives in there, and then you can move forward into the story and you get like a big boss or whatever. And man, you're getting massive bosses in there that I don't care about. I don't want to do that. I want there to be the very simple but yet difficult background Easter eggs that you can do, like in the OG zombies that they had, because that was some very difficult, brutal shit, but it was great. It was subtle, and you didn't need to do it. You could just enjoy yourself, and you could play the game, boarding up windows, easy, simple, round-based style gameplay. That they should just go back to that. They really should. The storyline, I don't care for the mental stuff, the psyche, whatever dream sequence, mumbo jumbo. They've done that in Call of Duty before. It's not my ace, not my cup of tea. Don't like it. And as for the multiplayer, it's probably gonna be the same thing as Black Ops 6. Just they always bring Nuketown back every fucking time. It's always Nuketown, just changed in some skin. I'm gonna Google it. How many times have they brought Nuketown back?
That's a good question. It's kind of different every time, though, right? Or they like
it's a little different, different.
Little variations.
At least 8 times they've brought it back. So Black Ops, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, Black Ops Cold War, Black Ops 6, and then they did another one. Playing Nazi Zombies on Nuketown was actually fun. That map with the zombies incorporated was great when they brought that into Black Ops. I think that was Black Ops 2 that they put it in. And that was a pre-order bonus, if I remember correctly. If you pre-order the game, then you get that map, and it's so much fun. I've got that, I'm pretty sure, on my like 360 still. Yeah,
Nice.
damn good time.
That's cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Like last year, Black Ops 6, that was the first time the new Call of Duty game was on Game Pass. Obviously, that acquisition finally went through, and so because of that, I jumped into the campaign, and then me and you played some zombies together. And I think it's telling that like we played zombies like once or twice, and then just like didn't really feel the need to come back and like master it and like let's beat our high score, get to level around 20, around 30, all that kind of thing. And like even the single player, which is something I've done a lot in my life, even without friends, just like, hey, how much can I do on my own? I just didn't really have the pull for it. I think it's just like a little overcomplicated. It's a little, I don't know if gimmicky is the right word. There's just a bit too much going on, and I don't know. Maybe it's just also just a nostalgia thing, is what's speaking to me about some of those old ones. But I think that it's definitely changed over time, and I don't really like some of these new changes as well. So I'll give it a shot. But yeah, I doubt it's gonna sweep me off my feet. So we'll see what happens there.
I should highlight too that the operator packs that you bought for Black Ops 6 are not porting over into the multiplayer for Black Ops 7, but Warzone is unaffected. So everyone just take a breather. That's how it's always been. Your packs they work on Warzone. That's a separate entity, but everyone's freaking out like, I bought Ninja Turtles and I can't play as them in Black Ops 7. What's going on? It's like, no, just chill.
I feel like those people should have learned by now, would be my counter argument for them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, they don't. A game here that I hadn't heard about and I just looked at now, seeing this list, is a game called The Berlin Apartment, which I think is based on a book, maybe, which you don't see that often. You don't often see like book to game. You often see movie to game or other things like that. But I think this is pretty cool. A game. The Steam description here is: one apartment, many stories. Witness turning points in the lives of its inhabitants of an apartment in Berlin over the course of a whole century. So it seems like, I don't know what the gameplay is actually like, but you're just jumping through to this one apartment, different points in time, seeing different families, and I don't know. I don't see any characters in the pictures here. I just see like the apartment itself. So maybe you're just walking around. There's little bits of storytelling here or there. But you know what? Boom! I've just hit the add to wish list button. I think this game looks really cool. There's a demo, so maybe I'll even give that a go. But yeah, really cool idea. I'm into this. So it's kind of fun, little exciting thing to kind of just see on this Game Informer list here. And then on the day after, on the 18th, is Deadpool VR coming out. So just kind of maybe the highest profile VR game of the year, which doesn't feel like it's saying a whole lot. It's just like the fact that it's an IP game. We'll see what happens with this one. I don't know. I hope it's great and people love VR, but I just don't see VR getting ever bigger than it is now. I kind of feel like it peaked already, which is not super telling because it's not huge in its current state. But anyway, that one's coming out. And then a couple days after that is Kirby Air Riders, which after that showcase, talked with Kirkland about this last week. I think the game looks amazing. I really, really want to play it. If it came out prior to the 24-hour stream, I might have just impulse bought it so we could play it there. But the fact that it's not, and then I'll have to wait a whole year to play it on the stream, I don't know if I'm going to be picking this one up. But I really do want to play it at some point. I just don't think it's going to be a day one purchase for me. Maybe when vouchers come back. Maybe if it goes on sale someday, which it probably won't. But yeah, Kirby Air Riders looks really great. I just don't see myself diving into this one. That takes us to December. We're almost done here. Octopath Traveler 0 is coming out December 4th. Another game that looks cool. I'm going to play it someday, but not on December 4th. I still have to get to 2, which is on Game Pass right now. So a little behind on my series right now, but I do like some of the things that are doing there. And then the to be announced sequence is pretty long. Let me see what's in the to be announced. So this means that these games are supposed to come out this year, but they just don't have a release date yet. One for me, Coffee Talk Tokyo. I really like the other 2 Coffee Talk games, so I'd probably pick that one up. Dead Static Drive is a game that's been on my radar forever, and it's just never getting a release date, so we'll see what happens there. We've got a bunch of ports. Yeah. We have Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, that Hyrule Warriors sequel for the Switch 2. Still doesn't have a release date, which is kind of weird. There's been another rumor last week that there's going to be a early September Direct, which would presumably show off the Hyrule Warriors release date as well as Metroid Prime 4. So, I mean, that would make the most sense if those games are still supposed to be coming out this year. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, hopefully that is the case. And then Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Very excited for that game. That's a day one for me. Hopefully it does still come out this year because I put it on my draft. So I'm really pulling for it to come out this year. And it's going to be a day one for me. I think the game looks great. We got the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I think that looks really solid as well. I'll pick that up someday. Da, 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 da. Pony Island 2, I don't think that's coming out this year. I think that's going to be kicked to next year. Could be wrong, though. Let's see. Resident Evil Survival Unit. Oh, it's a phone game. Okay, I don't know if I need to play that one. I was like, what is this game I've never heard of? Skate Story is supposed to come out this year. We'll see if that happens. A little skate competitor there. Star Trek Infection. Okay, that's another VR game. I was like, what the heck is Star Trek Infection? Sometimes you just see games on here. It's like, I've never heard of this in my life. I'm not seeing much else here. Taylor, was there anything I skipped past that you are interested in? Anything on your radar?
No, I mean, I was coasting through, and I mean, I think you covered the heavy hitters. I mean, Battlefield 6 is big on there. Jurassic World Survival, or not Jurassic World Survival, Jurassic Park Survival, there's still nothing on that. I saw that did a little reel the other day where they're just talking about creating the locations, kind of keeping it as accurate as possible to the franchise, and that's really the only thing I've heard about with this game. Nothing else. And I was hoping that we would see a release this year to time with Rebirth's theatrical release, but
Okay, yeah.
no.
At this point, I feel like, if they have Evolution coming out early, like late this year, maybe kick that, give those a bit of space.
Yeah.
So I think that could make sense. Okay. I think I just wanted to ask you a couple questions here. So, like, Switch 2, it sounds like. Well, I guess I didn't strictly ask you about Metroid, but you're not a Metro? You're not picking that one up, right?
Not picking it up, but I'm hoping my draft will pick it up. High Metacritic score.
So, is there any other Switch 2 games that you're gonna be buying this year?
No, I honestly I might see if I can borrow Bonanza from Travis, but there's nothing really calling my name to purchase. What'll call my name is a new mainline Mario game. Get a Mario Maker 3 out there. Let's go.
Yeah, I did want to bring that up because it is the 40th year anniversary of Mario as a character, which normally wouldn't necessarily be. I think it's 40. I think I'm right on that. Which normally wouldn't be like that big of a deal, but for the 35th anniversary, they did all sorts of stuff. They released like the All Stars collection. They had Super Mario 35. They had like, I don't know, probably like other merch things as well. And we haven't got anything this year really for Mario. So, I guess Mario Kart World, which is a good one. That is a big point for Mario getting an anniversary thing. But a lot of people are speculating that September Direct would feature some Mario 40th year anniversary stuff. So we'll see if that happens. But I don't know if anything would actually come out this year, though. I think it might, like a Mario Maker could get announced, but it's like a early next year kind of thing. Because is the movie supposed to come out next year, the sequel?
I don't know the release date. I'm still reeling with the fact that All Stars came out 5 years ago. That is a shocker to me.
Yeah. That I feel like my math sounds off. That seems kind of crazy, but no, I don't know. That might be right. But
and it was only out for 3 months, right? That's what they did, the 3 month.
And then they did the same thing with like a Fire Emblem. It's super weird. But yeah, it seems like they would want to do something, but if they don't have anything ready, they don't have anything ready. I mean, the only thing that's like an easy layup is, obviously a remake, remaster thing, which I don't know what they'd have cooking there. The other thing, of course, could be Mario Kart World courses. I think that's definitely happening, and we haven't had any inkling of that yet. But I think by the time September rolls around, which has rolled around now, but in the next couple weeks, if that direct does happen, I could definitely see them announcing the first wave of DLC. I've speculated that's like Donkey Kong Bonanza themed stuff, so we'll see if that happens. I think that would be an easy layup, but I don't really know what else there would be. I think Mario Maker is a good call out, but I don't know if they announce that and it comes out this year because like Kirby, Metroid, Hyrule Warriors. I guess there's room for one more big Nintendo release, but I don't know if they want to overwhelm it. But I also feel like it's their first year of the Switch 2. They should try and roll out a bunch of big spicy things. I don't even know. Is Mario Maker a thing that would have to be locked to a Switch 2? Like, wouldn't that make sense for a Switch 1
That makes sense.
release? But I don't know if they want to do that. Also, man, I just thought about this now. Mario Maker with the mouse controls, really great, right? Make levels a lot easier. So maybe that's how they sell it. Is like, this has to be on the Switch 2 because you need the mouse controls.
I think that there's room for a surprise because I was just Googling here and it's like, okay, Super Mario 3D All Stars was announced by Nintendo on September 3rd. And then during the presentation, they announced for their 35th anniversary, they announced that it was coming out September 18th, right? Just shortly after. So who's to say, we're still September 1st today. If they do a presentation, because their 35th anniversary, or sorry, their 40th anniversary is on September 13th. So any point in time now, we could have a show, and they could be like, oh, and you know what? A week later, 2 weeks later, boom, you're getting Mario Maker 3, or you're getting a new title, something like that. So,
I mean, even like in the case of Metroid Prime 4, like a huge sequel for a series that's been long dormant. It's been in development for a million years. It's coming out this year. This year only has 3 more months, and we don't even know when that is yet. So obviously, sometimes Nintendo is pretty fast and loose. Like even like their recent directs, they announce them like a day before they happen, right? Like they just kind of do that sometimes. And they even did that with the Metroid Prime remaster. That was a shadow drop. It wasn't a direct. It came out that day, and then they're like, oh yeah, physical is gonna come out later, but you can buy it digitally right now. So you're right. Like Nintendo is pretty fast and loose with their release dates sometimes. I just feel like for a big Mario thing, you want to zhuzh it up a little bit. But yeah, maybe that's like where they do the runway. Like here's some smaller thing, a Mario 35 type thing, or like a remaster bundle situation. What if, Taylor? What if Mario Maker 3 is Mario Maker 3D, and you can make 3D Mario levels?
Wow.
And maybe that's why they didn't do Odyssey 2 and they did Bonanza 2, because the next 3D Mario Maker is you can make 3D levels.
I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility. That would be an absolute game changer. I mean, it'd be a time sink. You'd be spending so much time building these levels, and like, I couldn't even imagine. If you give me the ability to make like Mario Sunshine styled levels, oh my God.
For me, even if I don't make a single level, but just the fact that, I can download people's levels that they make in here is a million times to me more satisfying than like, okay, I've played a lot of 2D Mario games and other platformers, but like, yeah, just let the community make really great 3D levels. I think, oh my God.
You're getting custom boss battles too, with like all the cool, unique 3D bosses that we face all the time. Yeah. Oh,
man, if they do that, $10 trillion. $10 trillion. And
3 months
if Mario Maker 3 comes out, I don't think I need it personally. The only one I have is on Wii U. I'm not playing that game anymore. If they did a 3D version of that, I'd pay $200 for that. I would love that. I think that would be so great, especially because I didn't really love Odyssey, so it's been a while since I've really fallen in love with a 3D Mario game. But like, put that in the hands of the community. And obviously, Nintendo would make some pre-baked levels in there, so you'd get some Mario levels as well. Goddamn! I hope I will that into existence, because that would be beautiful if they made that happen. Yeah. And if that did release, that would be another huge release for this year. That would be a crazy announcement for the 40th year. Pair well with the movie release next year, if that is when it's coming out. So yeah, that all would be very cool.
A fun little thing here. The AI overview is like possibilities discussed include a new 3D Mario game, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 collection, a Super Mario Bros. Wonder sequel, or a new remake of the original Super Mario Bros. Game. So that would be pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, I guess the thought of like remaking the first Mario, it's almost like so old, but like still kind of perfect in a way that like, I don't know if you need to do that. And I feel like Mario Maker is kind of a way to keep those levels alive. And also, what do they do? NES World Championship or whatever, where they have like weird little challenges within that. So I feel like it's been kept fresh. And even Mario 35 is like using those levels in like a new engaging way. So I don't know if they'd go that route, and the other ones, like Wonder, I think will happen, but it'll happen in the Switch 2's life cycle, but not soon, because I feel like they'd go 3D Mario next. And then, sorry, what were the other pitches? There was a Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, which makes sense because even the 3D All-Stars didn't have Galaxy 2 in there for whatever reason, and that's still not been released on the Switch at all, which is strange.
But then, the original Super Mario Bros. Remake.
Yeah, do you think they would do like another Mario 35 thing, like just reskin that 35 one, call it Mario 40 now? Because that's like they took that off the service. You can't play that game anymore. But like bring it back, add some new features to it. I could see them doing that and make it like, hey, every 5 years we bring this game out of the vault Disney style. I don't think Disney does that anymore with their movies, but like the way they kind of did that back in the day.
Yeah, I could see them doing something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, man. If that direct, it's hard. So many direct rumors occur, and they're more often than not wrong in terms of like when the dates these things actually happen. But I do think with Hyrule and Metroid needing a release date, we are bound for that. Now, obviously, other release dates just get announced on like Nintendo Today, like that app that they released earlier this year. So who knows what they do? But give me something like that. Mario 40th year anniversary special stuff, Mario Kart World updates, those 2 release dates, new trailer for Kirby, Air Riders. Like, it's pretty spicy direct. Like that's a lot of content to chew on there. My last question for you with this release calendar stuff is, obviously we're just, I guess, 3 months away now from Game Awards, Game of the Year sort of stuff. What do you think the 5 Game of the Year nominees are going to be? Just, doing a prediction 3 months out early. What are we looking at right now? I feel like Hollow Knight, I assume, will be good enough to make it in that mix, and it's an indie game that transcends enough to be in that conversation. I think Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is in there 100%. What do you feel like fills out that top 5?
Oh my goodness. I'll just be biased and I'll throw Battlefield 6 out there. I think there's a
you think
strong
there's potential for that. Okay.
I think there's potential. I
really
think there's
cool
a
to
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ghost of Yotai probably squeaks in there.
Yes, that's another good one. Yeah. So
Maybe
more.
Bonanza. Critics love Bonanza. I don't think World is squeaking in there. That's best family game written all over it. But I think Bonanza.
I wouldn't see World
in
there.
Yeah.
Bonanza is a good pick for sure.
I don't think Borderlands 4 is
moving
the needle. Civilization 7's not moving the needle. Monster Hunter Wilds, I don't think was quite what people were looking for, so I don't think that's squeaking in there. Split Fiction could be one. If we're talking about, the last time the studio released a game, it was Game of the Year winner. It Takes Two. And now Split Fiction is a game that's over 90 on Metacritic, I think, so people love it. And trying to think if there's another big boy that I'm forgetting about. I mean, Blueprint's good indie gem, but I don't think it's top 5 Game of the Year status. A lot of it hinges on if Hollow Knight makes it, but I think my 5 would be Expedition 33, Hollow Knight, Ghost of Yotai, Split Fiction, and I'll throw Donkey Kong in there now. Because even Metroid, I just don't know if that's going to be that quality of a game. We'll have to wait and see.
That's what I'm hearing with everyone just not being sure.
But I think if anything, that and Donkey Kong, only one of them makes it in. Like, I don't think both of them are squeaking in there.
Yeah, your Claire Obscure pick is definitely in there for sure.
Yeah,
I've never heard anyone say anything bad. That's lock.
Even potentially just the winner, I think. But it's 100% a lock for top 5. And then, any surprise releases. Like, I don't think Sony has another big release. I think they're really focusing on Ghost of Yotai and then some of their smaller stuff. Xbox, they have Keeper, they have Ninja Gaiden, Outer Worlds 2. They avowed this year, but I don't think any of their games are squeaking in any new announcements. So I think if Nintendo does anything at this direct, that would be maybe a potential. Especially if it's a big Switch 2 game, people feel like they want a bit more Switch 2 quality, considering that console's still kind of fresh. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. Do you have any controversial other ones to throw in the mix there, or was that kind of a good top 5?
I think that's a good top 5. I can't see anything else really that stands out to me.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool. That was a good look. I mean, that was a very zoomed in microscopic lens. Like, there's so many other things coming out. Even going through this list, there was other things like I could have brought up. Obviously in that TBD release date window, a lot of things that just don't have dates yet could come out. Didn't feel like bringing them up too much. But yeah, there's a lot of potential. I'm excited for this fall. October's going to be crazy. 1 million games I'm playing that month. Probably in November, I'll still be catching up on those. September is a bit quieter, but that's kind of good. Like, I'll just play some Silk Song, play some Helldivers, just kind of finish up the other games I've been playing, which I'll talk about in future episodes of Sidequest. And then, I think December seems like it's pretty light as well, but I kind of like that. I like to just kind of finish up my games, get into the Game of the Year season, Game Awards, get excited for next year, do the Game of the Year episode, and kind of just play whatever heck I want in December, not be playing new things. So we will see what happens there. But Taylor, thank you for joining me. This is a really fun episode, really great discussions all around. And I'll see you in the hellish. What is the name of the planet in Helldivers that you're cruising in on? Is it just Earth 102?
There's Super Earth that you're defending,
Super
and
Earth,
then
right.
all the different places. I think right now the global community event is on Helmir.
Is that a different planet?
Yeah, it's a different planet. It's in the Terminid territory.
Wait, I thought all the territories were on the same planet.
No, so you have you have the
Wow.
whole soul,
I thought it
not
was
even
a
the solar
map, and you were
system.
looking at different parts of the map. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
learning a
so
lot right now.
you're right there. So it's map and all just a massive galaxy universe. And so in the dead center, you got Super Earth. That's your home base. And so when you
Gotcha.
branch out from Super Earth up in the top, you got the robots down below, you got the Illuminate, and then on top right, you got the Terminids. And you can see like there's different planets and they're broken off into like little regions. So you go into those regions, you can see okay, there's like 3 planets in here, and you can see the status of how many Helldivers are doing missions on all these different planets. You can drop in on those planets, and then once you take over those planets, then it pushes them back, and your region
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
expands. So
Right. Full power. Okay, well, I will see you and everyone else on Super Earth, aka next week. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you again then. Bye.